Oh. 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 In verse 32 of chapter 6, Shri Krishna completes teaching dhyana yoga in a focused way. All that comes after that is an appendix. In verses 33 and 34, Prince Arjuna, who is actively listening, responds to Shri Krishna by sharing, I am disturbed, I am distracted, I am distant. Thus, I cannot contemplate. What you have shared is theoretically lovely, practically not possible. Shri Krishna responds. He too is actively listening. In verses 35 and 36, he encourages Prince Arjuna to engage in abhyasa, reflect on sukha. Are you joy? Where is joy? What is joy? When one is passionate about this, they will naturally also practice vairagya. They will relieve themselves of dukkha. All that is causing them to be disturbed, distracted, distant, they will let go of that. Thus, contemplation will be possible. This is a samvada. Prince Arjuna responds, verses 37 to 39. He is comfortable that he can practice contemplation. You should also feel that same comfort. Now what's bothering him? He can contemplate, but what if he runs out of time? He's in a war. He could die. We are in a war with time also. We're all getting older and so on. Specifically in verse 39, Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasya sheshataha twadanya samshayasyasya chetana hyupapadyate. What is bothering me, only you can help me with. I am feeling dejected that I am not liberated. His dejection is indicative of how evolved he is. He is not sharing he's dejected because Acharya Bhishma is in front of him. He's not dejected because of all of the hard work that will have to happen in this war and beyond this war. Our evolution is when the world cannot deject us. Do you all remember the first teaching of Bhagavad Gita? The wise do not grieve, neither for the dead nor for the living. They do not grieve. They do not get dejected because of the world. Their only dejection is that they still depend on this world. And what is also indicated is how clear he is about his relationship with Shri Krishna. Worldly people cannot help me. Only you, who does not depend on the world, can help me be the same way. Shri Krishna responds with a series of verses. Perhaps the most beautiful is the one that we're about to explore, filled with love. Verse 40. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Partha Nevehana Mutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschit Durgatim Tata Gacchati. Now Shri Krishna responds, and he begins by calling Prince Arjuna Partha. I meet a lot of Parthas, and I ask them, what does your name mean? And then they'll tell me Arjuna. I didn't ask for a synonym. I wanted to know what your name meant. Paramatma, Artha, Iti, Partha. Partha is the one who knows the only Artha, wealth, meaning, dependence, is Paramatma. One's parent, one's spirit. This is the importance of namakarana, choosing the right name for another, for oneself. Na, eva, iha, which means here and now. Na, amutra, which means there and later. Just focusing on this quarter, Shri Krishna is sharing with Prince Arjuna that all of your efforts will not be wasted here and now, nor there and later. Will not be wasted, will not be dissolved. And I've shared this with you already. Bhagavad Gita is focusing on our inner evolution, memory, mind, intellect, ego, in which case it's beyond outer changes. What is death? Death is of the body and breath. When Vivek dies, his heart will stop beating. There will be no more air exchange. But memory, mind, intellect, ego, that is not subject to what this body and breath will go through. Is everyone clear about that? And now to make this more practical, suppose I organize an exam for you at the completion of chapter 6, that you can't join me for chapter 7 unless you complete this exam. So now everyone is studying steadily, sincerely. And then on the day of the exam, I just smile and say, let's continue with chapter 7. Now some may be thinking, but then we didn't learn anything. When you're studying, you're learning here and now, correct? Whether there's an exam or not, you have learned. Are you following me? So we do experience this, but we become so extrovert where we externalize all that we feel our inner evolution will be lost with outer changes. Vinashaha tasya vidyate. Prince Arjuna, you should know, for such a seeker, na vinashaha, there will be no destruction. Reflecting on this, suppose with the destruction of Vivek's body, there is the destruction of Vivek's mind. How can there be any evolution then? If all is erased in 72 years, how can there be any significant evolution? In 72 years, my body can't evolve that much. It's not like I can change my digestive system. And my mind, even more so, which is more set in its ways, how can I change? When one does not resonate with reincarnation, my interpretation is that living becomes very pessimistic then. I'm just doing, and really I can't do anything. But as soon as you start to reflect on reincarnation, this helps us to take responsibility for our life. That I have this opportunity to evolve, and that when this body dies, and it will, and in a short period, all of the responsibility that I've engaged in using this opportunity will continue. Emphasizing this marginally more, I found with social media, people have become cowards. On social media, suppose you post a YouTube video and I write a remark, I don't like how you talk, I hate you. There's no consequence for that, correct? I can do that all day long and people do, but suppose you're speaking right in front of me. Will I say that? Will I feel that? And that's my point, is without reincarnation, it encourages us to be cowards. I don't take responsibility for my life. I'm so dependent on the context. But when I reflect on reincarnation, I'm responsible for the condition of my mind. It is not based on my age. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit. For the one who is engaged in krit, doing, kalyana. Whenever you hear this word kalyana, please share with me in the chat. What do you think of? You think of our parents. We think of icons getting married, correct? Sita Rama Kalyana, Rukmini Krishna Kalyana. And that's all we relate to that. We're going to get good food that day. I'm just pointing out how much we externalize and justify our externalization. For those in our Bhagavata class, I told you, you should be Devi Rukmini. She is the one who loves Shri Krishna, can't live without him. Kalyana here indicates contemplation. And that is the Kalyana. It is the means to the ends. And contemplation here then also includes everything you're doing for contemplation. Your preparation, your purification. In one bhasha I read, the tapa that seekers like you engage in to purify and prepare for contemplation and contemplation itself is 80 times more difficult and rewarding than any sort of external tapa, like a ritual. Because there's no materials, correct? What material do you have in contemplation? You have to keep giving up materials, body, mind, and so on. In our samskara workshop, which we completed yesterday, the final rite in our culture is called Antyeshti. Andya means final. Ishti means sacrifice. The final sacrifice is of the ego. We externalize this to be of the body, but that's not the case. We are born with an ego. The body should die without an ego. That's the final sacrifice. How? Only through contemplation. And now the most beautiful part of this entire verse. Durgatim tata gacchati. No durgatim. Prince Arjuna asks, Gati, where will I go? Shri Krishna says, you will go nowhere that is harmful. Nowhere that is going to put you in a devolved place. And he calls him Tata. Tell me what Tata means in the chat. TCS, right? Tata Consulting Services. Tata in this context, okay, there's many contexts, means a parent who is born as a child. That's what Tata means. But here, they're of the same generation. It means a Sadguru who identifies fully with that Shishya. That's how much Shri Krishna feels for Prince Arjuna, that they are the same. And since I'm with you, how can there be any harm? He's our Tata also. We have lower Tatas in life, and I'm not trying to insult anyone, but we have the highest Tata also. Final insight. Shri Krishna will become more specific about what the gatis are, giving definitive points of why you are born the way you are, where you are born, where you are born. 2 chapters ago, I had shared with you that chapter 4 is one of the most significant chapters in Sanatana Dharma. In this, there is the insights into avatara, insights into incarnation. Shri Krishna is an incarnation. Today is Bhagwan Rama's Jayanti. Though I say today is his birthday, today is his incarnation. Only someone who's an incarnation, which means they're away from this system, they're the ones who would know about reincarnation, correct? He's teaching reincarnation. Only he can do that. You and I are reincarnating. We're in the system. How can we teach each other about that? Only one who's distant from this system can they know how this works. Shraddhaya upetaha. Be faithful. Shanti. 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 Oh. Oh. Your nature is joy. Poetically, this is shared as Rama lives inside of you. We don't feel this because we have forgotten this. We have forgotten this because all that we are and all that we do is noisy. The noisiness of our inner world gets expressed as busyness in our outer world. To feel that our nature is joy, we have to practice being quieter. Quieten the busyness. Quieten the noisiness. Appreciate what you have. All of the opportunities in your life, all of the relationships in your life. Appreciate these. Relax the body. From the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. Flow through each body part, relieving all pain, all tension, and replacing this with relaxation. Relax the body. Observe the mind. The mind is filled with thousands of thoughts. Each weighing on us. Our habit is to identify with each thought, making that thought heavier. By watching the thoughts, we relieve ourselves of identifying with these thoughts, and what is replaced is a lightness. Observe the mind. By practicing quietening our outer world, our inner world, we remember that Rama lives inside of us. We feel our nature is joy. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.